Today's guest conversation is with the head coach of the West Virginia Mountaineers, Mr. Steve Sabins. Here's episode 82 of the Baseball Forward podcast. Coach Sabins, top of the morning to you, sir. How are you?
Doing great, man. Thanks a ton for having me. I'm excited about this.
Absolutely. We were talking here offline. If anybody's watching this on YouTube, you'll see it. If you can hear it, we're gonna try to paint a picture, but Coach has got an office that's overlooking a beautiful field. It looks like a bright, beautiful, sunny day in Morgantown, West Virginia. Coach, I'm gonna lead with this. I played ball with a guy that went to West Virginia in the Dodgers organization, and we were talking one time. I said, West Virginia, like I didn't know any better, right? I said, West Virginia, and he goes, you don't know. And I'm like, okay. And I said, what don't I know? And he said, it's the best college town. It's the best athletic department. It's the best of everything in the country. And he goes, and it's by a mile. That boy, McCracken, that left an impression on me. Was Vance McCracken right about that, Coach?
Man, he nailed it. Truthfully, it's just it's a little bit of a hidden gem. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's mountains and rivers and outdoors. They call it the world's largest outdoor playground. Yes. It's 1.8 million people. There's no other major university in this place. Everything revolves around the Mountaineers. Wow. So Morgantown, West Virginia, you go into a bar, a restaurant, a shop, it's baseball jerseys, it's hanging football trophies, it's everything is about the Mountaineers. You got shortstops on billboards selling season tickets around town. You got every pub and every restaurant doing NIL deals with guys. They just care. This is the New York Yankees of West Virginia. And so it's a beautiful place. It's a little bit throwback. I mean, legitimately, right? Like I roll into Dunkin' Donuts and get my coffee and they're like, great win, coach. Like the preacher. Yeah, the preacher, the teacher, the coach, the elementary school teacher, they all mean something in this community. It's a big deal. What we're doing. And so pushing the Mountaineers forward, it's something, I think every coach is going to talk to you a little bit about community and that kind of stuff, but like you feel it here. It's not fake. There's not a bunch of different allegiances throughout this state. It's like everyone grew up a Mountaineer fan. There is hardworking blue collar folks that they can't afford nothing, but they'll have an ESPN Plus package to watch the Mountaineer baseball team, right? It's a beautiful thing. It really is. And I've been here now 11 years. I lived downtown Morgantown. I bought my first house, had 2 kids here, and then we just built a new home. So I've got to be in a bunch of different areas around Morgantown and getting kind of connected with this community and know what's going on. It's been incredible. It's really, really fun.
I'm going to hit you with this because, Coach, not in a creepy way, but I've been paying attention to what you're doing at West Virginia, and man, the culture of baseball. Coach Vitello is now the manager of the San Francisco Giants. Like, whoa! But I was talking briefly with my wife about West Virginia baseball, and I'm like, she goes, how would you, not knowing a whole lot about baseball? She's like, how would you classify them? I said, West Virginia baseball is probably equivalent at this point to like the Tennessees of the world. And I said, it's that big time. And I said, they're going to break through. They're going to pop through. And I'm like, who's leading that? It's Coach Sabins. So, man, like, I would imagine that this is a dream job for you. I would imagine that, like, where else do I go? What else can I do? Talk to me a little bit about the relevance of the job for you. And then I can't imagine, but I couldn't imagine Coach Vitello. I can't imagine what would be better than that. Talk to me about that.
So I got here in 2015, about this time. I guess it was Christmas 2015. So going into the 2016 season, I was 27 years old. Coach Mazey was the head coach here. He had come from TCU, and they had gone to some World Series appearances. He's from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and he gave a 27-year-old a shot. I was a volunteer. I'd worked my way up, right? Back when they had volunteer coaches, like, you work your ass off for years to get promoted to making no money. So I worked my way up to that volunteer spot, and Christmas hits and they lose an assistant. So a pretty weird time, right? Because before the spring starts, there's basically no turnover in college baseball. So Coach Mazey gives me an opportunity. And at that time, I would have taken a job in Afghanistan if it meant getting to coach college baseball and have like a real salary and benefits.
Yep.
So I'm going, dude, I might have just hit the jackpot. I got a Big 12 job at 27 with no recruiting experience.
Wow.
So like, yeah, no brainer. I had been here one time previously. We had played when I was at Oklahoma State with Coach Hawley. We had played in Morgantown at Hawley Field, which is the old field. There was no offices overlooking multi-million-dollar facilities. That certainly didn't exist. And it was a tough place to play. I mean, it was chain link fence. It was aluminum bleachers, natural grass field in West Virginia.
Wow.
And when we played here, I had to go to the bathroom in the third inning, and I stood in line at the porta potty with the fan.
No way.
Oh yeah, that's where the program was at.
Dang.
And so it was insane. Yeah, that wasn't very long ago. We're talking 15 years ago.
That's crazy to hear.
Yeah. So, anyways, I take the job here in December 2015, and they had just finished the stadium. So there was still some empty shells. There was no weight room. There was no meal room. The offices that we're sitting at didn't exist. We just finished a $5 million biomechanics and performance center. Didn't exist, but we had a field and turf. So I'm like, yeah, are you kidding me? Like, I get to go coach and recruit. And I didn't know West Virginia from Virginia to Pennsylvania to Ohio. I'd never been in this part of the country. So I had no idea what I was doing, but I must have fooled Mazey in the interview enough to give me a shot. So get up here and just start working, right? You just start recruiting. You make every phone call humanly possible. You just go to work. And in 2016, we had a great year. We lost to TCU in a Big 12 championship game. And it was an absolute gut wrencher. Luke and Baker, who's this monster. Yeah, he ended up hitting he had a big home run against us late. But anyway, so we didn't make the postseason. We probably were deserving in that first year. But in 2017, we cracked through and we made a regional for the first time in 21 years. So people were like, oh, I didn't know West Virginia had a program. Cool. Like, nice stadium, made a regional, top 64 team. Wow, man. Like, good for those guys. We probably won't hear from them for another 20 years.
Yeah.
So a bunch of really incredible stuff happened from that point forward. But I felt like that was the spark that kind of ignited this whole fire. So we've had first rounders. We hosted a regional in 2019. We've had some other first rounders. And then, long story short, we've been to back-to-back regionals. We've been to back-to-back super regionals. We've had the best year in program history 2 years in a row from a win perspective. So to give a little perspective, like you said, yeah, there's been 5 teams in the nation that have been to back-to-back super regionals. So like you said, Tennessee's one of those, North Carolina, Oregon State, West Virginia, right? That's who we're talking about. And so it's definitely from standing in line at the porta potty at Hawley Field, right, to back-to-back super regionals with first rounders. We have 14 players enter pro ball in the last 2 years. We just built a $5 million lab and hired the lead biomechanist from Tread Athletics. Our staff right now, you know, it's probably 3-4x from when I first got here. Like, we didn't have a student manager back then. We had 2 coaches and an ops guy that was part-time. And so, like, where we're at now, right, we have directors of pitching and directors of analytics and biomechanists on staff. And we've just evolved this program into having incredible people first and foremost. But it's been about culture and people, because when we were signing players that were way too good to come here 10 years ago, it was about people. It was just about development and people, and who do you want to surround yourself with, and do you trust us with your kid, and how do we get you better? And then now we pair that with some of the best resources in the nation and the athletic department that's all in. Like, they're going, how do we get to Omaha? We want to get to Omaha as quickly as possible. What do we need to do from a scholarship perspective? We just got 28 full scholarships, which is good as anyone in the country. We paired it with revenue share and NIL, and so they think we're doing something. And so it's been a blast. So I know I got long-winded there, Ross. I apologize, but it's been a run, man. You mix in a couple kids in that, you hire some people that you trust, that you love, and so we've been able to build something here. So it's pretty organic process that we got here.
What you just described to me, talking with Coach Steve Sabins of West Virginia on episode 82 of the Baseball Forward podcast, what you just described to me, Coach, I'm like, if I'm a, it's better than pro baseball. That's what it sounds like to me. I know when I think of pro baseball, I think of buses, McDonald's, pizza, not biomechanics, not I get it at the major league level. Yes, maybe trickle down.
Yeah.
But I think where the state of college baseball is, with West Virginia right at the forefront, it's the best baseball experience out there. Like that, and is that why the game is growing? Because of the tender loving care and money that is being put into programs like you guys?
Without a doubt. It is. We were just discussing it. Literally, we're making a pot of coffee. We're talking about players that have entered professional baseball or the minor leagues. And we're talking about, just without a doubt, the best place to get better is at some of the top programs, the elite programs, just because you have these staffs that are so large and so caring, and resources that are unmatched. And the impact that our program has on this state and this university is so much larger than what a minor league organization has on the community, right? Because we're the front porch of the university. We represent the state. You represent a lot that's going on. There's donors connected to this. There's people and enrollment connected to this, how we play, right? We're like a gigantic marketing agency for the university and the state.
That's a good way to put it.
And the amount of effort that goes into it, right? We have sleep scientists that are on staff. They're doing vision testing. They're getting full biomechanic breakdowns, full-time nutritionists. There's a sports psychologist on staff. You have 2 pitching coaches. You just have all these people that are pouring into these kids to get better. And so it really is one of the, and then there's competition to boot, right? If you want to get on the field at some of these places, there is no feelings. There is no, we hope it works out for you. Let's just give you time. It's purely deserved. It's purely earned. And so like our job is just to provide resources and get guys better. But like the challenge is real and the competition is real. But that's why the sport's growing, because the product on the field is nasty. Like when you watch those postseason games in college baseball, it's nasty. It's competitive. The players are so good. And every year for the last couple of years, I think the last 3 years have been different. You start watching those Omaha games the last 3 years and you're like, I'm watching some different kind of brand of baseball right now.
That's right. That's right. You know, I got a video this morning from a guy. I won't name names, but big time Division I guy as a freshman, first outing or in the fall. And you look at this guy and I'm like, that looks like a major league pitcher, and he's a freshman. And that's what you guys are dealing with. That's what you guys are dealing with at West Virginia. I want to go back real quick because I'd be remiss if I didn't. Coach Mazey, he's a legend, man. I've never had the honor of meeting him, but man, in the circles, I've never heard anything bad about Coach Mazey, and such positive stuff on Coach. What did he mean to the West Virginia program and where you guys are? Put his importance and his stamp on West Virginia, and then on you as a coach and where you're at right now.
It's the foundation of like a new era. So Coach Mazey took WVU baseball into the Big 12. So they were playing Big East baseball. And the story there was, before Coach Mazey took over, the year before, they were in the Big East and they finished second to last place in that conference.
Dang.
So a lesser conference finishing second to last, and then they take over and they're going, yeah, basketball will be good. That's a historic program. And football, actually, at WVU is the 14th all-time winningest program in the country. So they said football is going to survive. They'll keep rolling in football, but like poor baseball, chain link fence, porta johns out there, natural grass field. Yeah, good luck, Maze. Like really smart move coming from TCU where you're going to Omaha. It was basically dead man walking kind of stuff.
Wow.
And so just from where he started to the program when he left, that was the first super regional in program history when he retired. So that final year was the first super regional in program history. And so for him to go from that point, so he was literally, designing ballparks on napkins and talking through processes and how are we going to get this ballpark funded through the county, and working with TIFs and working with Oliver Luck, who was the previous athletic director here. So just like so much work of the foundational pieces of this. And when I got here, I was really people-oriented, relationship-oriented, development-oriented. So I was able to come in as a young guy and really work with the players and recruit. That was probably the thing that I brought to this party, was the recruiting side. It was like 27 with my hair on fire. I'm going to go get players. It was just all about players and getting talent in here. And so that was something that I brought to the party. But what I didn't really know was truly the X's and O's of the game. And Mazey's old school dude that had been a head coach really early in his career, pitching coach, and a hitting coach. And when he got the job with Schlossnagel at TCU, he tells a story that he asked him if he wanted to work with the hitters or the pitchers. And May said, who has more talent? And Slosh supposedly said pitchers. And so May said, I'll work with the pitcher. But I think the point was more that he literally could do either and really saw the game from 50,000 foot view.
Boy,
and so when I got in here, just the knowledge of the X's and O's and the thought process and the base running and the stealing and the teaching of the game, I absorbed all that for a decade. And then I was running offense and he was calling pitches and scrimmages for about 10 years. So I tried to beat him. He tried to beat me.
Yes,
and it was just one of those things where we would go heads up. And I was young enough to actually be trying to win scrimmage games, right? When you get more mature, you realize it's just developmental, right?
That's some Tom Brady stuff right there, though.
Yeah. So it was just one of those things. I learned so much on the baseball aspect, just incredible amount of baseball knowledge from the guy. And I came from Oklahoma State that had incredible baseball knowledge with Josh Holiday and Rob Walton, some really great coaches there as well. So he built the foundation for this program, especially in this league.
Talking with Coach Steve Sabins, West Virginia, on the Baseball Forward podcast today. I'm interested in your take. I feel like I saw some video in a super regional or regional where I saw maybe your son or daughter on the field with you. This is what I remember. Family man, that's what I thought. So I want to know this. I look. You have two children, Charlie and Tugger. Cool name, spelled with two E's, by the way.
Thank you.
What's it like being a dad and being a coach at the division, like the highest level of college baseball, the demands? What's it like being a dad and a Division I coach? And is it? Do you think your kids understand kind of who you are and where you're at?
It's the best thing in the world, first and foremost, because my kids get to grow up around young adults that are ultra motivated, competitive, structured, disciplined, that have career aspirations, and they're trying to be part of something bigger than themselves on a team. So first and foremost, you just get to surround your kids with like animals, like just awesome dudes, right? Part of it being a dad and being at this level is that you're always going to have like a little bit of a nagging, I wish I could be with my kids more, but there's just a cost associated with being great that my family certainly understands and that I have to be very comfortable with. There's a cost of winning. There's a cost of trying to be the best. And that's a time requirement that you can't get away from. So hiring the best people in the world to surround myself with on my staff is critical if I want to be a good dad and a good husband. The pictures you probably saw is when we won that Clemson regional. My kids were way past their bedtime. They were delirious. They were like little drunk 7 and 4-year-old running on the field, but having a blast. But I do think they're starting to grasp not any magnitude of a job or responsibilities or anything like that, but just that people care about what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And that I'm a leader of something that people care about. Wow. I think that's probably the biggest thing that they could take away from it. But West Virginia, it is incredible community. I live 3 minutes on top of a mountain away from this field. It's like 3 to 4 minutes. And so there's no traffic. I'm here. And then if I work out in the morning or I have meetings or I have a podcast or whatever I'm doing, I can go back and get my kids ready for school before mom takes them to school. So it's just like the community itself and the ease of living here allows you to be a good dad. You ain't fighting traffic. My kids are around this ballpark all the time. We have other kids that our staff members have that are around the ballpark. But like just so like a good example is like yesterday was my my now 5-year-old's birthday. So Tucker has a 5-year-old birthday. Yesterday, you get home from practice, you have birthday. He's got a cookie cake, and this morning the cookie cake's in our nutrition center. So it's like, hey, Tucker, you wanted you guys to have a piece of his cookie cake to celebrate, you know, his birthday, right? And I send Tucker the picture of the guys eating the cookie cake or whatever. So they're just like part of the team. They're in the flow. They're part of the deal, right? My wife made sourdough bread. She's into that. She made sourdough bread for 3 of the players this morning. She delivers the bread to their walker. Yeah, so it's like an all-inclusive deal. I got no hobbies. I have like 3 friends if I'm lucky. There's probably 2 of them consider actually they think I'm their friend, but it's like this is what you do, right? This is what you do all day, every day. When you get off, you rush home, you go to your kid's soccer game or t-ball game, and then you're back here early in the morning. But you can't have it all. So I'm just lucky to have what I got.
Yeah, man. Yep. It's so blessed. And again, I what comes to my mind is like dream job. I think there's certain areas of the game where every player coach aspire to be, and it's like you're in one of those positions. Talking with Coach Steve Sabins of West Virginia today. Happy birthday to Tucker, by the way, yesterday. Hey, I want to touch on this because West Virginia, man, boy, some good football teams in the past. Some good, I think Bob Huggins, West Virginia, just dirt, like tough. But the name that I wrote down that I wanted to just see what your experience and take was, and I'm sure you know where I'm going to go, but Pat McAfee, what an absolute stud. This guy, he's a West Virginia guy, and his loyalty and his commitment to that university is undeniable. Do you have any, being the head baseball coach, I mean, you're right in the mix. Do you have any run-ins with guys like McAfee or anything like that?
We haven't had run-ins with McAfee. He's been such a crazy supporter, like you said. And that's what I found was guys who've been in this program, first rounders, superstars that come, they stay, they celebrate, they love. And part of the world's been the transfer portal, right? But the stars that have been here, they just haven't gone to look for what they perceived as bigger or better, or they perceived as the next step.
Yeah.
And there's always a next step for everybody. I don't care where you're at, right? If you're wired that way, it's like that could always happen. But it just seems like there's that pretty deep connection with people that get to come here and people that get to be part of this. And it's just because everything revolves around it. It's a small community, and this is the main show. Everybody that goes to the football games, or you're on the sidelines, or stars come back, or former superstars at WVU in any sport, it's always like just respect for everybody. It's just it's a pretty deep connection. But McAfee's been incredible, and he's obviously given lots of money and time and publicity. That marketing side and publicity side that he's been part of, like it's probably hard to put a dollar amount on what that guy is doing for this university. Seriously, right?
Seriously. Because he is like, I mean, I watch game day every Saturday morning, and like I never like Lee Corso. We grew up here like, oh, the headgear, the pick. And now I'm like, I want to watch the kick and the way he ices them and talks trash to them. I'm like, and then the amount of money just thrown out there, it's amazing. So I wanted to see if what your thoughts on that. Let's transition to, because I want to get, I don't want to say the culture of baseball, but like the landscape of baseball right now. It's really hard, really hard. If I had someone ask me the other day, what would it take to be recruited at a school like yours? And I'm saying, well, I think you probably have to be a pro prospect at high school. I don't know that is. Point being, it's really hard to play at that level today because the talent is so good. So, talk on that. Talk on like the differences of like what the expectations of the athletes are and the people are of the guys that come play for you.
It's changed dramatically. not only with the development of the program, the winning, and then the expectations that come with that winning, also new rules when it comes to the roster limits and the legislation that's been now put into play through the NCAA. And so pretty soon, all teams will have 34 people on the roster as the rules are currently set. And so as the programs that have won and want to continue to get better in their pursuit of being the best, it's essentially you decide, how do you need to create a 34-man roster that maximizes your potential to win? And before, there was walk-ons, and before there weren't roster limits in the fall. So you had some flexibility. We would take shots on young guys that had high ceilings and projectable, and those chances or opportunities have certainly shrank. And that's unfortunate in some regards, because we've had draft picks and superstars that were walk-on red shirts in year one.
Wow.
It's very difficult to do that, because when you think about that breakdown of 34 people, you're talking about, let's say, 17 pitchers and 17 position players. And with 17 position players, you basically can now just run a inter squad game. If you've got a hammy and a guy with a short shoulder, you can't even run a scrimmage game.
Wow.
Right? That's without a DH. That's an 8-on-8 contest.
Yep.
And so it's crazy how difficult that can become. And you could say, dang, 17 pitchers seems like a lot. Well, not if 6 of them are freshmen. Now you got 11, and one guy gets hurt, and now you got 10, and then 2 end up not panning out and being competitive, and you're going into the spring with an 8-man crew, hoping that some freshmen make some big jumps, right? Yep. And so strategically, you just have to decide, who do you want to invest in, not only financially, time-wise, and you can't miss. Your window for misses become extremely small. So how do you not miss at the highest levels of college baseball? You get experienced guy with proven track record, just like the Dodgers do, or just like the Yankees do, right? They're going to pay the guy that have proven track record and have competed at a very high level for a long time. So it's just turning into more of that pro model where, is it homegrown talent? Is it free agent talent? How are you going to construct your roster, essentially? And we still highly believe in that high school thing, because, like I said, our roots are from development. When we, were last place in the Big East, competing for championships and going to back-to-back super regionals, it wasn't because we had the best 5-star players, and it wasn't because we paid the most in the transfer portal. We were competitive in both those areas, but it's because we got players way better, right? Like JJ Weatherholt, first rounder to the Cardinals, right? Like that guy was a non-top 500 prospect that didn't have another Division I offer. Really? Victor Scott, he's a starting center fielder for the Cardinals. He didn't have a Division I offer. David Hageman was a red shirt here, freshman year, 4th rounder. Now he's going to be in the big leagues with the Diamondbacks. We've had 12 big leaguers in the last 10 years. And I can promise you, it ain't because we had more blue chippers than Florida, right? It's just that's not how it works. There's 1.8 million people in this state. So there's more people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, right? So we're not going to go heads up with like in-state homegrown talent. There's not guys at DFW high school like praying to go to TCU, right? We had to go find guys in nooks and crannies and hollers, man. And so I don't want that to change, but the expectation of being able to compete immediately, that's absolutely there. Like it has to be there. So you might need some room to grow physically, but like we can't wait around for maturity. We can't wait around for like mentality changes or work ethic or polish or like poise or confidence. I don't have time for that anymore.
Wow.
Year 2, hoping that you get confident that you can compete here. You got to be mean son of a bitch, like ready to go from day one, from Jump Street. And so I want high school kids in here without a doubt, because we're going to develop people better than anyone in the country. But there is some sort of balance where it's like you got to get some proven dogs in there as well.
I love that. I love that breakdown, because it's obvious to me. Are you hearing any feedback there, Coach? Can you hear feedback?
Yeah, I hear it.
Okay. But it's obvious to me that you're so straightforward with how it is, and that's like I feel like sometimes when you're talking with it comes off, not you, but it comes off harsh that hey, that's the state of the game. It's a pro model. That's a really easy way to understand this. So for the kids that are and I say kids, for the young men that are going through like the recruiting process, and there's so many kids that probably dream of playing at West Virginia at this point. It has become a destination program. There's no question in my mind. So if I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, I want to play for West Virginia, and I'm hearing coach say, I got to be ready to roll. Okay, I kind of know what that looks like, but I'm not a finished product yet. Like, talk to the guys about what it looks like to get there, because the pro model means it's not just one way to get there. There's different rounds. There's different stepping stones. Talk to the guys that want to get to West Virginia that maybe aren't a finished product yet.
Yep. And I love that question, because nothing more that I want to do. And the reason I got into the game was to help people and see people grow and see people develop and to win and to compete at the highest level. And I believe, because of all those things that we talked about with West Virginia, the community, the fan base, you can win national championships here, and you can turn this place into a monster. And like you said, some would already say potentially is a monster, right? There's 5 schools that did what we've done in the last couple of years, but there's always room for growth. I think a big piece of this, there's a talent threshold, period. And so I used to be able to take more risks. Super high talent, we need to get talent on our roster. We need to stockpile talent, and then we can work from there and work through some of these things. Well, there's a lot of intangibles that won't allow for talent to show up on the field. And so the talent piece is extremely important, and we can dive into what that looks like. But there's a lot of different characteristics of talent. But I think a lot of this has to do with the intangibles, with the ability to be coached. And this isn't coach speak. I feel like you could be on a million podcasts and people can talk about character and work ethic, and like all those things are true, right? But not coach speak. Like literally your ability to be able to retain and take in information and then make adjustments quickly. Like, so not a coach speak, like not a good kid. Like every kid we're recruiting is a great kid. They're good kids. They want to be good. They work hard. Like those are just, those are floors. Like if you don't work hard, you have no chance. You're not even in the discussion. So it's more about like, do you have the mental capability to concentrate? Can you focus? Can you take in coaching and then apply that to your game? Are you persistent? Do you get down on yourself? Because I really think that we're getting to the point where you're looking for the most elite athletes in the world, and there's some finite time associated. You don't have time to get down on yourself for 2 weeks. And there's exceptions. The more talented you are, the more baggage you can have or things to overcome. The less talented you are, the least amount of time you have to get better. And so that's really that's my lens. It doesn't mean I'm right, but that's how I view this. I view this as we're looking for that blend of really great talent, but that mental ability to take coaching, to handle adversity, to overcome, that stuff really matters. Those are like facts. And 10 years ago, we didn't have the luxury of like picking those kids. It was like, oh, you got enough arm talent? We don't have any arm talent in the program. Wow. Let's go, big boy. Like jump on in, right? We'll figure out that whole intangible thing later, because we can't roll into the games against the Big 12 competition with not enough arm strength or speed or power or hit skill. So like it didn't matter what you're doing. And now it's like, oh man, we're behind because this guy can't take coaching. He refuses to make an adjustment. He's insecure. Like those things are really the difference maker at this point from the high school perspective. So I got off task a little bit, but on Saturday, we had a prospect camp. Okay. And so the first time in my career for about 4 months, we worked to have a prospect camp. We invited 16 regional universities to this thing. Oh, wow. So it's pretty cool. So 16 universities show up. We have 100 kids, and every university spoke in front of the group and talked an elevator pitch for 2 minutes about their university. So I loved it because I'm into like coaches and who's doing what and who are the next superstars and who's working their ass off to make their programs better. But the point was like D2, D1, NAI, JUCO. Here you hear from all these guys and they go recruit them. But essentially, all those schools have turned into some sort of junior college, whether they want to admit it or not, because a lot of these players do want to play at West Virginia or do want to play at the most elite level they possibly can with the best resources. And so, like, we can't fight that. And so I'm not into fighting that. And all those coaches were incredible and they're wonderful. And some of them come to the realization of there's a possibility that people will transfer out of my school, but I still want to get the best kids here and develop them. Sure. And so what does that look like? I think if I was a high school kid, go where I'm wanted, numero uno. If I could find somewhere where people really wanted me, it's like I'm looking for a girlfriend and a wife that thinks I'm pretty cool. Like,
that's right. Good point.
Someone that wants me around, dude. If I could have someone that wants me around, I got a shot in this deal. so like go where you're really wanted, where people are interested in you and where you're convinced you're going to get a great opportunity. And then after that, go get better, because if you get really good, you're going to have opportunities to play at the highest level, whether it's a junior college or a D2 or a D3. It just you have to be loyal and you have to be thankful for your opportunities. But there's some sort of like reality of what's going on. Like, there is revenue share. Players are being paid. And so, like, I don't want to pretend that someone that went to a D2 and then wanted to better themselves to get to the highest levels is not a loyal kid. That's not fair. Like, it's not realistic anymore because it's a pro model. We're paying players.
Right.
And so I think you go work your ass off. You get as good as you possibly can. And at the end of each year, you have to evaluate what's in your best interest to try to achieve your goals and dreams and then move forward.
Love it. Talking with Coach Steve Sabins, West Virginia. Coach, about 10 more minutes or so here, a little less. I want to go back to Dunkin' Donuts, man. I'm curious because I'm like, ooh, you know what? I'm kind of hungry for a donut right now. What's your go-to at Dunkin' Donuts?
I'm a black coffee guy, and then when I'm feeling froggy, I'll throw a shot of espresso or two in there when I'm going good.
Do you ever get a donut?
I don't go donut really.
Coach.
I will go bacon, egg, and cheese bagel occasionally. That's a go-to.
That sounds good. I started thinking I got ADHD and the Dunkin' thing came back into my mind. I'm like, ooh, I'm curious. All right. I want to ask you this. Baseball forward, my business partners, I'm pretty sure you know them. Coach Gary Ward, and then Coach Jim Schwanke. Baseball forward, elevating the next generation. That's what this is about. Let's get these next guys coming up and up and up and up. When I say elevating the next generation, what would your advice be to the players out there that are coming up in this game? What would your advice be to elevate the next generation?
I think in a world that has become a little bit focused on the individual and it's promoted as individual, I think you can really separate yourself and really enjoy your experience if you can focus on being part of things bigger than yourself. Ooh, yes. So I think the team-oriented side is something that we probably teach as much as anything, because I really think it's the key to success in general and happiness, because we have a big group of people and there's a lot of personal ambition. These are the most motivated young people in the world, and a lot of them are so driven to be great. But if they on each day can just remind themselves that they're trying to do something as a collective unit, because we're not playing golf and we're not playing tennis, and it's not all about us, and it's not all about you, and it's not all about me. It's like we're only as good as each other. And so it's like this, it's a focus on getting better every day. But why? It's for the team. And so I just feel like that mentality of asking kids, like, well, how'd the game go, is maybe more important than how many hits did you get. Like, I always just want the kids that we recruit and the guys that we're to be around, and my kids to be like, how'd the game go, and did your teammates score, and like do you really care about other people? And so that's for me, like elevating the game. I just think with social media and showcases and prospect events and so much information in everybody's face all the time, it can become a little shallow, and it can become selfish, and it can become singular, where the team side for me is really important.
I always find it just fascinating, not just with baseball, but talking with people and having thoughts or maybe like assumptions of why they're in the position they're in, right? And especially as I narrow it down with the coaches that I get to talk to, and what you just described, when I think about Coach Steve Sabins, I'm like, you talk about team first, you talk about us, you talk about community, and I'm like, why did West Virginia hire Steve Sabins? That's why. Because he truly lives that and he believes it and he wants it from his guys. And that's what that whole state is about. Fascinating to see how your personality and your DNA is what that program needs. Don't ever miss on that. Because that's special. And it doesn't always, the stars don't always align. The stars are aligned at West Virginia. So I got 2 questions left for you. Breaking through to Omaha, what's that going to mean for you?
I don't know. Haven't done it. The program has never been there. It's been so incredible, the milestones that we've got to break through. The first regional in 21 years. The first rounder, the first time we hosted a regional since 1955, the first time we've been to back-to-back super regionals in over 70 years, the first time in history we've ever been to back-to-back supers, the most wins in program history 2 years ago, the most wins in program history last year. Just all these firsts, I think, have just elevated the program and kept everybody inside the program hungry. So I think getting there would be something, and it would be a milestone. But I think winning the whole thing is something that's going to be like really probably what the focus is for everybody while doing it the right way. And so I don't know what it's going to feel like, but I do know like everybody wakes up around here every morning trying to get good. So I'm not sure it will ever change. I'm pretty positive whatever happens, that's just going to just continue to keep rolling. But for the state and for the people of this state, I can tell you it would be absolutely monumental, because people in this state want to know that what they believe in and what they stand for matters and is special. And I think it really is. It's blue collar and it's grit and it's work. And for them to be able to see themselves as one of the best in the world at something is like immense pride can come from that, because things have not always been easy for the people of this state. It's rural and it's hardworking. And like I said, it's the definition of blue collar. And so pretty much everybody from this state has gone through trials and tribulations at some point along the way. And just to be able to see something that they love, that they believe in as one of the best in the world, that's motivating, I think, for everybody in our program.
You said everybody has a next step, right? I agree with you. Governor of the state of West Virginia, Steve Sabins. Think about it. Hey, do you have any regrets where you're at right now in your coaching life, in your baseball life? And I don't want to get all personal and everything, but do you have any? Do you have any? Yeah, don't talk about that.
Yeah. No.
Do you have regrets? Do you have any regrets? Yeah, no regrets. Yeah. Do you have any regrets on your baseball life? That like if you could help someone, hey, don't do this. Learn from me. What comes to mind?
Hell, I don't think so. I'm too busy and life's too short. I got somebody on staff. His name's Chris Riley. He's the oldest staff member. We always give him hell because we have a really young staff. And so I don't know, he's probably 40 years old or 42 or something, but he was a mentor of mine throughout my career. So I would call him and say, hey, I got this opportunity, or I got this job opportunity. And he'd be like, hell no, man, you don't want to do that. And so I feel like I've been able to rely on people that are awesome and smarter than me to make good decisions, just because my goal is to coach baseball and build winners and help people achieve their goals. And so I've been able to put myself in that situation to do those, right? Like I want to coach baseball, help people build programs. And so I'm getting to do that every day. And so I have no regrets. Certainly I have things that I've screwed up. Like I've screwed up more than most, but it's not a regret, right? Like you learn, you move forward, you go do it. So I'm like you said, blessed and lucky and love what I get to do.
How many times, and I want a number, how many times do you think you've heard the song Country Roads? How many times do you think you've heard that song now?
We heard it 44 times last year for the most wins in program history. But yeah, we hear it a lot. It's I think everyone hears it a lot. It's all over the place.
It's crazy. What would your walkout music be if you were a player today? What would your walkout music be, or what was it when you played?
Oof.
You remember?
I was a guy that always had like the most recent hip hop for my walkout songs. Yeah, I was like hip hop guy. I was playing in Florida, and I don't remember what it was. I always have. We've been playing Charles Wesley Godwin in the ballpark a bunch. So he's a pretty famous country music star, but he's from Morgantown, West Virginia. So he's a big WVU fan and a big supporter of our team, but he's a rock star, man. He's an absolute stud. So you got to check him out.
All right. We will do. We'll do. Steve Sabins, the future governor of the state of West Virginia. Actually, he's just the head coach of the West Virginia Mountaineer baseball team. Coach, I'm going to give you take us out 30 seconds, last words, and then I'll take us out, Coach.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. It's always fun talking about the program. For me, it's a little bit therapeutic, just thinking about where we were at to where we're trying to get to. You don't have a lot of time in this gig to reflect on what you're doing. So some of these questions is certainly positive for me to reflect on what we're doing and where we're trying to go and why we're doing it. So I just appreciate your time.
Pleasure. Big things coming for West Virginia. Hey, you guys are a joy to watch. My boys, actually, I have two sons. They love watching West Virginia baseball. So thank you for that. Steve Sabins, Baseball Forward, episode 82. We'll see you guys next time.